Welcome to the mobile home movement, where we showcase the beauty and affordability of mobile homes. Here we break false myths and share all the positive stories of how mobile home ownership transforms lives. I'm Franco Perez, and this is the mobile home movement. What's up, guys, and welcome to the mobile home movement. And today we have a very special guest. We have either Vivian, or Vivian. Which one is it, Viv? I call you Viv. I don't know why, and I don't know if that was the right one.
It's Vivian, but I guess it's Viv here.
Vivian. Okay, so tell us a bit. So for those that don't know, Viv handles a lot of the behind the scenes in our business, and I'd love for you to kind of intro yourself, kind of who you are, also a little bit about your history and what you know about real estate and what you now know about mobile homes in a brief thing, and then we'll dive into more questions as it gets further.
Yeah, so I've actually grew up in a mobile home. We moved into one when I was around 8 or 9 years old. But back then, when my mom and I were just renting rooms, we didn't see an option for us to actually own a home. So the fact that we were able to find one and afford one, it really saved us back then. And after that, living there for a while, I realized that I wanted to get into real estate and help other people as well find their first home and things like that. So I did get started when I was around 17 years old. So I graduated a year early to get started in real estate early as well. And it was a bit of a hard journey in the beginning, since there was I had to work a part-time job at the same time while doing real estate in the mornings and things like that. So it was a bit of a struggle, but now finding my way into mobile homes and learning here has been a big growing experience for me.
Oh, cool. So tell me a bit about kind of like let's see. So you did real estate stuff, and then let's talk about kind of your first few months here. What was that like? What was the transition from how real estate transactions work? If you don't mind, let's talk a little bit of difficulties in the real estate world, and then also how it's different, like getting used to what we do in the mobile home world. What are the differences between learning what you knew in the real estate transactions, because you worked for a team back then before, and then what was it like kind of shifting to what we do?
Yeah, so back then I was doing a lot of cold calling and prospecting, door knocking as well. I learned a lot. I learned how to speak on the phone a lot, which was really good because I was a pretty shy person. So cold calling was a big step for me.
Growing is like, and yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so being used to the phone and actually showing other people my script and things like that. I actually taught a lot of my teammates on using scripts and things like that as well. But other than that, I wasn't really going through the whole real estate transaction side of things, since I was mostly just prospecting and learning how to prospect at that time. So jumping into here where I got started on managing a lot of transactions right when I started. It was even more learning for me because I got to see the full from like A to Z, basically, of how real estate transaction works, and with how mobile homes work as well. I know that there's a bit more steps to it, but learning how to get through those was something that
it's a big transition, and it's a new learning curve, because now you're actually seeing like the pending to close, and then also getting transactions live and active, and that sort of thing. So it's really cool kind of watching you grow to where you're at now, and still growing. So let's talk about kind of, you already dived into this a bit, but what do you feel like the understanding is around mobile homes and the conversation about that. And what's fascinating is you've experienced it through your life living in a mobile home. And what do you find are people's associations with mobile homes? And what's the actual association compared to the true, real reality of it?
Yeah. So I always knew that there was this type of stigma around mobile homes. I didn't learn how big of a stigma it was until recently, when I started working here. Because, obviously, when you grow up in that neighborhood and you feel safe, you feel like it's a big support system for you, you don't think of it as a bad thing. So taking a step back and looking at how other people view it, seeing that there was a bad stigma about mobile homes was very shocking for me.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so I understand that some people think of mobile homes as trailer trash. They think that people that live there don't take care of their homes and things like that. When
Hmm.
in reality, there's so many beautiful communities that mobile homes have created for families,
Totally.
for them to have a chance of home ownership, which I think is very amazing because I've seen it save a lot of families just like me as well.
Oh, totally. And I want to pick your brain a bit because did you live in one mobile home park or two or?
I actually, when I was little, I think my parents, we moved to a few mobile home parks actually
Yeah.
before settling on the one that we currently live at right now.
Yeah. So for those listening, like we're in the Silicon Valley, it's a very expensive place to live, and it's tough because it's tough when you're when you have immigrant parents and that sort of thing, and just trying to set a foundation here. And we see a lot of families be able to use mobile homes to get out of like you mentioned, living in rooms for now, and then when you get to a stable position, then this is really an upgrade and it betters the cash flow and it allows for families to feel more financially free, right? And that's
Yes.
and you've experienced that yourself. And what was it like? I mean, put the stigmas aside, was it actually trashy or anything like that? Or was it, was it a great commute? Was it, I mean, be honest,
Yeah, of course. I honestly feel very safe in the mobile home community that I grew up with
Mhm.
in. Also, there's a lot of, kids my age as well that were very close by,
Yeah.
so I could always hang out with them. It was just like a less than a minute walk away to go to their place, and there's a pool, there's a park, so we were always like in the pool during the summer and things like that. So
Yeah.
I honestly loved it growing up because I felt like I had a community, genuinely.
Yeah.
And then my mom also was friends with a lot of people in the park as well. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was really,
That's
yeah, different than, because I also lived in single family home too.
mhm.
And there's actually a big difference in my opinion, and the
Huge.
community, the sense of community is not the same as if you were to live at a single family
Wow. Yeah, you
as
said
well.
that so well, and I
Yeah.
witnessed it myself too. Is like, hey, you go to these neighborhoods and you think that you're gonna like in the movies, you're close with your neighbors and
Yeah.
that sort of thing, and
Mhm.
it's never a real thing
Yes.
out there. But you go to these mobile home communities and you live in a community where neighbors look out for each other. One of the perks is that, you're in that community, you share amenities, and you get to meet neighbors, you really have a lot of interaction, and people actually do look out for each other. It's like, hey, can you take care of my kids this week and blah blah,
Mm.
or and you're actually connected in that community, and that's something that people don't actually realize, but it's such an important element of housing, and especially in low income housing. Having that sense of community makes people happy, makes people feel that they're looked out for, and the kids are able to get that social element with their friends and play at the playground, meet at the pool, and that sort of thing, which is such an important part of life. Whereas, like, I've also seen the opposite, where families growing up in their home community, and all they do is all the kids are familiar with is playing video games and only living in the home.
Yes.
And that sense of community is so powerful and great as well. And how about tell me a bit about the quality of the homes itself too.
Yeah.
So How's that like?
So I got to see both spectrums of it actually. So my parents did buy a brand new home, I think back in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
So with the drywall and things like that. And it honestly looked like a single family home. I have memories of it. We had a huge master bath with like two sinks and like a very nice bathtub and things like that, and it was really nice living there. And the current home that my mom resides in right now was a much older home, but we were able to get it at a very good price and do a full remodel on the inside. So there was back then the wood paneling and also the um, it was like carpet. It looked like turf throughout the
Mm-hmm.
whole home. We removed that and we put in laminate flooring, and
Oh,
then also I helped paint some rooms as well to make it look like drywall.
nice.
And yeah, it honestly there's this comfort that uh, the
Yeah.
home gives me as well,
Mm-hmm.
which I really like because it feels really homey.
Oh, totally.
So
And
yeah.
you have one thing that also isn't mentioned is that everyone in this community, they have a sense of pride of ownership
Mm-hmm.
because everyone in these communities own their home,
Yes.
right? You don't have landlords and renters and that type of mentality. You have people that actually have invested their money into their home. So they take care of their home, they take care of their yard, they take care of their home itself, and they don't have to worry about, can I remodel, can I upgrade, can I build this and customize this home the way that I want,
Yeah.
right? They get to actually build the home that they desire. They get to design the kitchen that they want and that sort of thing. And you get that sense of comfort knowing that you can sell this later down the line, right?
Yeah.
Because what would the alternative be if you wanted something similar size and talking rent situation? What would that cost, would you think? Like a two, is it two bedroom, two bath,
It's a 3-2.
three bedroom, two
Yeah.
bath home?
And we turned it into a 5-2. So
Wow,
yeah.
there you go. So what, like, in it's in a prime area, by the way, and
Hmm.
housing in that area. It's a great school district, one of the best school districts in this area, actually.
Exactly.
And housing in from what I last checked, there are single family homes that are three bedrooms that are going for about five to almost $6,000 a month, right? And it's insane. Like that's why so many people are getting pushed out of these areas because they don't have that level of financial security or options. And then if they wanted to purchase a single family home in that same neighborhood, we're looking at average price points of about $1.8 million dollars,
Yeah.
right? And even at that price, they're getting multiple offers. So this is where the mobile home element really comes to play. So tell me about your first, now work wise, your first transaction and client, and what was it like kind of, because you were always on the phones and that sort of thing,
Yeah.
right? And then
Hmm.
it's a whole different feeling when you actually see the person you're helping and you
Yeah.
get to actually help be a part of their journey, their
Yeah.
life story. It's a huge moment for them. Tell me about that first client.
Yeah, of course. So I remember the first client that I helped. I was helping both buyer and seller side.
Uh-huh.
They were
Was it
trying to.
sellers first and then you found the buyers? Or
Um,
you worked with the buyers, or how'd
so
that pan out?
we found the sellers first, and they were trying to do the transaction on their own,
Hmm.
but they realized how hard paperwork was and things like that because they already had their own buyer.
Yeah.
So
Is
I
this
was.
Ronnie?
This is Ronnie.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool, cool.
Yeah, Ronnie and Gabe. So they just needed help with paperwork and things like that, making sure everything was okay.
Yeah.
And that's where I stepped in. And it being my first transaction, I was nervous. I really didn't know what to expect and things like that. So I just kind of just jumped right into it.
Love
Any
it.
questions I had along the way, I asked you or
Hmm.
Christina. And but honestly, it kind of came natural to me, the talking
Yeah.
aspect of it, talking to the clients. It's
I
what
want
I
to
love to
add. I
do.
want to add something too, because
Yeah.
they actually also talked to another agent
Mm-hmm.
that before. I believe they actually also worked with another agent before, and it failed,
Yes.
right? And you coming in, this is your first client, and you came in being an expert as it is, um, and you know, you made this girl super happy. But continue with their story.
Yeah.
So I just want to express that it was, you know, it's not like just this first time seller, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
They've experienced this, they've witnessed it, and you
Yes.
killed it on the communication and
Mhm.
connection. So
Yeah. They just, I remember Ronnie just really wanted someone that could follow up with her, make sure, she was updated with things, with the transaction. And so that's what I did. I made sure that she knew what the transaction would look like from start to finish, and just always kept her updated. And on the buyer side as well, I was doing the same thing. There was some loan issues, things like that. We had a lot of back and forth,
mhm.
but I ultimately made it work out and pushed it through so that we could
Cool.
close on time.
Yeah.
And yeah,
What was Franco's teaching style like?
it was very
Go
like,
for it.
just do it, and if you fail, oh well. But I liked that style
Yeah.
because I wanted to see if I knew I was capable of doing it,
Uh,
but seeing myself really, like, for for me to say that I did the transaction, I can actually believe that I did, since
uh,
I did every step.
you did.
But just asking the questions along the way, really helped, because with my next transactions, I already got a feel of the whole thing, so I didn't have as much questions.
That's so cool.
So,
And
yeah.
I'm a believer that, you know, when you're an actual good, caring person, which I felt that with you, you would be able to, it's a mix of that and also the fact that you're resourceful and will figure it out for them. That blend together, I knew you would figure it out, and I knew you'd learn faster through actually
Doing it.
transact, you know, doing it versus like, hey, let's sit down for 12 hours and talk about how this transaction will pay
Yeah.
out. Right?
It's a
But
bit scary in the beginning, but
yeah,
it's really helped.
well, that's cool. And then, yeah, and being as caring as you are, she was way happier with you versus another company, which is amazing. And I didn't expect it to turn out that great and for the client to be super happy as well. But I'm glad it panned out that way. And then from there, what's it been since? So you're managing like a ton of different transactions now, right?
Yeah.
How's how's um how's it like juggling multiple transactions?
It is a bit stressful at times,
Hmm.
but I've learned to just, what do you always say? Whenever they're like, I'm stressed or things like that, I forgot. There's a thing you
What
say.
do I say? I say a lot of things that I don't remember.
Uh-huh.
Um,
But
what's the
I
concept?
think it's like these clients, like, they'll come and go really quickly and
Uh
things
huh.
like that. Um, but
Oh, okay. So there's a
something,
few things. One
yeah.
is, you know, I think naturally being young and that sort of thing, we sometimes absorb stress a lot,
Mhm.
right? And we take in sometimes our clients' issues and take it in ourselves and sometimes can over stress about it a bit, right? But I
Yeah.
think what we have to realize is that we're here to give the best advice and the best service that we can, but don't take it in. But if you let that bog you down, it'll stop you from being able to help three more clients, right? So that's
Yes.
one thing. And I seen and watched you mature. And I think during that phase, I'm like, Viv, we need boss Viv here. Viv is too kind sometimes, too nice, which is your personality. But we want to try to have an alter ego and build that. And I see you mature with that, and it's amazing. But that's one thing that I say. And the other is, I don't know what I say sometimes.
I don't know either. But
But
yeah.
yes, I think clients should be. Oh, there's I don't know the word for it, but you should be able to kind of not segregate, but like separate your work life and personal life
Yes.
too. I think
Exactly.
that's one thing that's very difficult to do is like, hey, you're dealing with this transaction and problem, but don't take it home with you, right? You know, separate your family, friends life with your work stresses.
Hmm.
So, which I've seen you also do too.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you're juggling these different transactions. You're actually helping create and do a lot of the business development element of it
Hmm.
too, right?
Yeah.
So, which is really cool.
And I didn't expect that I'd be able to kind of, dive into the operational side as well, but it's actually something I enjoy doing a lot
Hmm.
because testing out different platforms and things like that is really cool to me to see how something can change a business.
Hmm.
So,
And we're designing things as we go many
mhm.
times, right? Which is a really cool thing. And I think the thought of seeing you being able to think for yourself and design it the way you would like for it to be is something that, like, it's an entrepreneurial mindset that everyone should have.
Yes.
And where versus where some people would really need structure and are reliant on structure. It's a very important thing to be able to think that way, and it's cool to see you grow that way. So, I know we wanted to keep this short. Is there anything else that about Viv that people should know?
I don't know. What should they know about Viv?
I have no idea. Big foodie.
Yes, I'm a big foodie. I am a Yelp elite wannabe. You
Yelp
could
elite
say, you could
wannabe.
say I'm following Christina's footsteps with
Yes.
posting a lot of food content and things like that. I post a lot on TikTok. I love to vlog, so
Yeah.
I like to vlog my day-to-day life to show people what it's like being in real estate and starting off young, because I know a lot of my peers or people my age are really interested
Uh-huh.
in starting in this career as well, in this field. So yeah, I love to show people what my life is like. So I'm pretty much an open book online.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Well, anyways, we're going to be creating more and more stories like this. We want to really showcase stories
Mhm.
of your clients, because I think the whole element of why we're doing this podcast is to really showcase the beauty of mobile homes and how it's making a difference in families' lives. So maybe next episode, what we'll talk about is a specific client and that we've helped, and how it's helped transform their life and feels financially secure here. But anyways, thanks for being on this, and I am excited for this journey. And yeah, thanks for being here, Viv.
Yes, of course.
Cool.